Hi gamers, Coach Nate is here to help you guys get better at playing the controller role in Valorant. The controller role is extremely important for both attackers and defenders, so knowing how to play the best on controller will help you improve in Valorant and win more games. It's not hard to be an okay controller, but there are small things that make a big difference, so let's go over them. Since today we are focusing on controllers, let's warm up our controller skills in a swift play. Load into a game and choose a controller of your choosing. Focus on playing your life, whether that is staying alive for retake on defense or being a traitor instead of an entry on attack. Before we get into some of the differences between attack and defense while playing controllers, let's talk about some general ideas. The first is that when we throw our smoke into a choke point as controllers, we want to make sure our smoke is almost flush with the choke point, as well as close to the center of the choke point. There are of course a few exceptions to this rule, but it's the pretty general idea. The next most important idea is trying to keep track of our cooldowns. This is especially important when playing characters like Omen or Astra, whether that be having a smoke for site exec or to stop the enemy's exec. Try to think whenever you are about to use a smoke whether you will need one soon. The final key idea is that if you are retaking a site on controller and your teammates want to stick the spike defuse, make sure you always smoke the spike and not the choke point. It's a small detail that can lead to massive differences in advantages. This prevents you and the enemy team from ending up in a random spray battle. With a smoke on the spike, your teammates can then take clean fights while your enemy is forced to spray and pray. Now let's go over playing controller on defense. When playing controller on defense, it's important to be aware of the other parts of the map and always be on alert to aid your teammates on the other side of the map with a smoke. Knowing when and where to throw a smoke versus when to save it can change an entire round in game. So getting the timings down as well as predicting where the enemy team is are important skills to develop as you play more of the controller role. Another main part of playing controller on defense is that most of the time you will be anchoring a site rather than a rotator. When anchoring, always be planning how you can either escape or survive for as long as possible should things start to go wrong. Whether that is falling off site entirely or giving yourself a smoke on site to survive as long as possible and stall for your teammates to rotate and help you out with utility. When playing the controller role on attack, it's really important that you value your life. Since your role is one of the most important agents in the game on attack, make sure you are not entering onto sites. Attacking as a controller is all about finding the balance between aggression and passiveness. Controllers can manipulate the map to their will, and nowhere is this more important than playing attack. Whether that be denying info from the defenders or throwing smokes that create gaps or timings for your teammates. If you are on ascent, for example, throw a smoke top market and break any sentinel utility that there may be. The defenders will no longer have any information in this area, which will create gaps for your team to work off of. After the spike has been planted, you then become the defender. So using some of the ideas you have about staying alive on site can then be transferred to attack. Whether that be throwing a mid-site smoke for you to live in or throwing one-ways on the chokes. Think about how you can both defend and attack different sites with your smokes. Controllers are one of the most polarizing roles in Valorant. They also have one of the most important roles in the entire game. Their life is almost as important as all the other agents in any game at any given time. Now, play one ranked game and focus on everything you have done so far. There are many different aspects to being a controller, so try and master all of them. On attack, keep trying to find the balance between aggressive and passiveness, while also trying to throw smokes that create gaps for yourself and your team. On defense, keep in mind the power your utility has to stop execs or hold sites. Try to use as many good smokes in a round as possible. Keep in mind that playing controller is extremely hard to do without information, so communication with your team or your duo who is on the other side of the map is key. The more information you have, the better decision you can make about where to place your smokes. Keep in mind that your swift play games probably are a lot faster paced than your ranked games, so being aware of your cooldowns is even more important. Now that you have some of the basics down of playing controller, the next step is to practice. As I mentioned, controllers have to find the balance between aggressiveness and passiveness. This balance is shifted from game to game and enemy to enemy. The only way to get better at this balance is to play and have fun. Thanks for watching this basic guide on controllers. If you missed my guide on initiators, be sure to watch it on my page on the Game Jam app. Once again, I'm Coach Nate, and have a great day.